Hello, everyone. My name is Arlene Baxter. I am with the Bridge Association of Realtors and I chair the Climate Action Committee. And it's my delight to be here as part of the Green Homes Tour at the Monarch Showroom exploring electric kitchens. We are here to plug in, turn on, and cook up in an electric world. And it's just a treat to be here with Chef Rachelle.
Thank you so much. We are on the same path. It is really exciting. This is the Electric Kitchen Workshop at Monarch Premium Appliance in San Francisco. We are also putting an Electric Kitchen Workshop in our showroom in Concord in the East Bay. So it's really a delight. I've been a chef in this world for decades. So I have worked on every high BTU gas and dual fuel range and these innocent looking induction cooktops next to it. I fell in love with induction hardcore 10 years ago, and now I can't work on anything else, and it's having its moment. So we are going to share some of our stories and hopefully some great examples today and have some fun.
Absolutely. So we want to make sure to cover certain topics for you. We're going to learn about the whole electric kitchen concept, myths and truths of today's electric kitchens and live cooking.
Yes.
The clean little secret of the appliance industry.
Yes.
And then we're going to take a tour of electric kitchen options, induction, convection, ventilation, and more.
I love it. We are going to get started. Well, I'm really happy to cook along to our story. Our menu today is, I've got a Thai basil chicken that is really wonderful, very easy to make, can easily be made vegetarian. We'll talk about that. And then would you do some simple things? I'll show you, we'll talk about roasting a pepper. I can char a tortilla. Very simple stuff to sort of hopefully be inspirational.
Fun. It smells great already.
Right?
So let's get into the myth busting and some of the realities of induction cooktops.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things I understand, I always tell people I live in that space between the appliance and the human.
Right.
I squeeze right in there. So I understand that this is different. One of the things that's very true is there is a learning curve. So for example, I'm putting this on. We're going to do a little boiling of water. So I'll show you a little bit about that. It's pretty exciting. So I put this on and then I select the hob area. And we're going to start boiling water. This, by the way, is nice and cool, room temperature. So yes, there is
an all-electric display here.
It's an all-electric display. Now, some of them, some induction have knobs, understandably. So yes, you know, they can look very different. So there is not only a sort of which interface do you want, but then yes, there's a little bit of a learning of how to cook on it, which we can address. So that's the first truth, and I understand that.
Right, right.
Yes.
I was delighted just last night to be at friend's home who just transitioned from something that's very familiar, which is an old Wedgwood stove in an Oakland bungalow.
Wow.
And I was fortunate to convince them to go electric.
Oh, so they were your clients.
Yes, they were.
Yes.
And your friends, so even better.
Good.
And so I got to cook a flourless chocolate cake in the convection oven and then make the ganache on the induction cooktop.
I love it.
And it was so lovely and clean and smooth. So I'm excited, and I hope that we can share the excitement with others of you of just how cool this surface and the systems are.
I love it. And you know, another myth that you were kind of reminding me about was a little bit about power, right?
Right, power and control, because we all love to be able to, you know, look under the pot and control it with the knob. So talk about how it works with induction.
Absolutely. This such a big myth is that, you know, it's not as powerful as gas. No, it is actually significantly, the water is boiling.
That's boiling.
Right. So yes, boiling. That's a fun little party trick when you can boil water in half or less of the time.
Wow.
But think of how that translates to cooking. It's fabulous. The other thing too is that not only is the water going to be boiling very quickly, but you also, one thing that's really true that's sort of an added bonus is that you don't need to have as giant ventilation as with big power gas. Now, certainly there are lots of options with ventilation, downdrafts, things like that. Downdraft happens to work really well with induction because it's not pulling a flame, right? So you get not only power and control here, but you get more choices and design options with your ventilation.
Absolutely, and very clean. I'm just thinking both my husband and the fellow last night, my friend, client, are both tall. What do they constantly do? run into the ventilation hood. So
Now
they would love this.
This is a very special unit. This is called the Nikola Tesla switch. So but you're seeing the innovation that's starting to happen. This is a combination, but again, even if you do overhead, you can do a lot of different choices. Now I'll show you on the control side. Watch this. Now when I shut this off, maybe you can see, then it goes off. Done.
And that's done.
Isn't that amazing? So again, think
and
how
there's and of course there's no heat. You know, there's no risk of me burning myself. I've got my paper on the cooktop, and it's
a little bit
fine.
hot from the residual heat, but you cannot imagine what a difference that makes in your life. Right?
From the potential of burning yourself,
and just heat in your house.
Right.
You have to think about, now granted, one thing that is true is that induction cooktops are more expensive than the old kind of junky electric, the radiant, the coil, and sometimes more expensive than a gas cooktop, like a drop-in cooktop. But on the other hand, you have to sort of think about your ventilation. Are you blasting your AC all the time?
Right.
A lot of different things that will affect how you live. So it's kind of amazing.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing is, I'll turn this off for a minute in ventilation. While we could talk about some more myths, but one I know you wanted to talk to me about. We'll grab that magnet.
Yeah, I want to talk about what myths of what you can and cannot cook in, that people are afraid they have to get rid of all of their cookware.
Yes.
Obviously, some you might.
Yes.
But you certainly can do wok cooking and this adorable little
Isn't that
magnet.
great? It's a little Le Creuset magnet.
Yes, it is. And there you go. So this, in fact, would work on induction.
Absolutely. And I just turned it on. It's already smoking. So if the magnet
that's amazing.
That's right. I know. It's really
amazing.
You know, so one of the things, one of the true things about induction cooking, or there's sort of a myth and a truth when it comes to induction cooking and wok cooking. One of the things that is a myth, I know, right? The myth is that you cannot use woks. Well, that's not clearly.
There it is.
The one truth is that it gets so hot, you sometimes have to back it off a little.
You need that ventilation system.
Right. So I'm going to cook, this is a lot of fun. I'm just going to throw these vegetables in here. One thing that is true when it comes to wok cooking is that you need a big flat bottom wok. The bigger the bottom, because you don't get all this extra heat up here. But my gosh, this thing gets smoking hot. So it's pretty sensational. It was literally, it's a nice seasoned wok. Yeah. So it's really something else. Now, if you're doing something like a fried rice where you really need a big surface area to get all of that crispy, you can do that in a big giant cast iron pan, and it's remarkable. So I can cook along here. Now you have, I think, a fun story about a family member. I love this. Talk about learning curve, right?
I do. So, you know, it's one thing to try to inspire people who are my age and younger as homeowners, but the last time that I was outside of my own kitchen during the pandemic was actually to my father-in-law's home. He's 92 years old, lives alone.
Amazing.
Bless him, chose to remodel his kitchen, and I mentioned exploring induction cooktops.
Wow.
And he went with it.
That's amazing.
It is, and he loves it. And I got to cook on his induction cooktop. Again, I had the same experience of just being wowed of how quick it is, but also in complete envy and lust over how clean it is. That there's, it's you just wipe the surface, as opposed to, you know, I have a beautiful gas range, but it's got lots of little parts. It's got the grates.
The heavy grates.
Heavy grates, they're cast iron. To clean that thing is frankly a pain, and this is so simple, and it's actually beautiful too. So I confess I am a little bit in lust of this.
Well, you were one of my favorite evangelists, because you were going out there going, no, people, we're going to do this. That's amazing.
Well, if my 92-year-old father-in-law can, this age shall not stop you.
You know, and that touches on really two important truths, which is food is so much about tradition and habit and knowing things and how you do stuff. So I get it. It's important.
This is my Italian father-in-law who has
important.
Food has been his life, his his mother's life, his grandmother's life.
Wow.
His mother used to come over from Italy and make ravioli. So food is very important in that family, as so many others. And the fact that he went induction at this stage, I just is quite wonderful.
I think we need to do a video with that guy.
I think we do.
So just so you
Tino would be delighted.
that is, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What an advocate. So what I'm doing, just so
No, this is
everyone knows,
smelling really
isn't
good.
that- and look at, come on, right?
And it's almost done.
It's amazing. So I had a whole bunch of vegetables that went in here. I put about 3/4 pound of ground chicken. You can do ground turkey. You can even do
whatever.
sure, or tofu. You can go with vegetarian or non-meat choices of any sort. It's really just a simple stir fry. You can even do it without any additional protein. So come on, look at how fast, right? And then what I'll do, really simple at the end, I'm just going to add in some chopped shallot and garlic. And again, at this point, so one of the things that's really important about wok cooking, and when you have super high, like restaurant BTUs, you get a phenomenon called wok hay, where actually the polymers come from 50, 60,000 BTUs and can do a little bit of a change to the flavor profile of the food. Well, a couple things. So it's something that is really important. So in commercial kitchens, they're actually coming out with big wok hobs that have a big divot in them, and that wok gets smoking hot. But then the benefit is we are not getting hot. We are not getting hot. And look at this, handles, not hot.
That you don't burn yourself on.
Absolutely.
That's terrific.
So there are things when you start to cook with induction, there are sort of the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Right? Like for me, when I have to bend down and stick my face down in the flame just to see.
And we all know that gesture of looking under the pot.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I have learned, I've had a lot of time to go, I don't think that's fun anymore.
Right.
So I'm adding in a little sauce. This is a really delicious sauce for this. It's and I'll make sure you guys have the recipe so you can try it on any type of cookware. We're not any type of cooking.
The aroma's fabulous.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then just for kicks, I'll throw in a little bit of chilies. I happen to have some Thai lime leaf here. But yeah, so the other thing is, look, I can reach over and do all of these kind of very bold things. So it becomes a wonderful thing to get used to, along with the cleaning. Right. Now, I even have some additional things that I can show you guys, and we can just talk about those. So a myth, very much, is that we can't char pepper. And I get that. There is no flame, right? Well, look at that.
Voila.
Charred.
A charred pepper.
Really beautiful.
Very charred.
It just takes, takes about the same amount of time in the flame, but I did it in the smoking hot wok.
And did you do this with oil or just a dry wok?
I did put a little bit of oil in the wok first because it needed a little bit of additional seasoning, but you can do it dry. You can do it in a big cast iron pan.
It looks like very happily charred.
It is. Absolutely. So then, and see how quickly that turns off. Yeah. Amazing. Now back here, what I can do, I know, it's weird. Now this does get some residual heat, but you can put your paperwork right on there. We're fine. So incredible things. As a matter of fact, when you're cooking something super messy, you can actually put paper towels down and around and cook right with that. So couple more things. I'll just do a little egg for the top of this dish. You can serve this with a little bit of rice on the side. You can do a little rice noodles if you'd like. I'm just going to do a little fried egg just to be kind of traditional. So any other thoughts? I mean, we've talked about cooking and cleaning. One thing I do want to tell you is the clean little secret of the appliance industry. What is that? It is actually that so many of us in this industry, the head of R&D and innovation for, like, if you think about the biggest kind of meatiest gas appliances that you can think of in refrigeration, head of R&D, Induction superfan. All of us here, Induction superfans. My decor rep that I just cooked with yesterday switched out her gas to Induction superfan. So there is a lot.
Well,
that's the clean little secret.
We've all heard of a lot of big name chefs in the Bay Area who've switched exclusively to Induction.
Absolutely.
Cooking shows online, a lot just with Induction, even some small, like one burner Induction, which is very handy.
Those are.
a good way to start
They're
out.
a good way to get started. Now, something that is, we talked about that a little bit. You know, there is also my concept of the whole electric kitchen. We're very focused, understandably, on cooktops, right? Gas versus electric, or gas and electric. I don't want them to fight. Right? However, there is a whole world of electric. Everything else in your kitchen is electric. So we sell lots of combi steam ovens, speed ovens. There's things like the Advantium. There's also everything, your ventilation, refrigeration, even convection ovens. If people knew, and I try to show as many people as possible, everything you can do in a convection oven and how you can expand your cooking beyond just the cooktop, you'd be amazed. Right. So nowadays when people say, oh, I need a 48-inch range and double oven, no. We can actually narrow that footprint, still make it look sexy and fun, but yet you don't need an additional appliance for each and every thing that you do.
Yeah, that's a different mindset for people.
It really is.
Well, and then there's also the health aspect,
Big
which
time.
is huge, that you're not breathing in gas fumes at all.
Absolutely.
And having that sort of low-level gas smell in your home. One of the members of my climate action committee switched over and had been away from her gas stove for a while, came back to it after several months of living away, and was sort of blown away.
Sort of resensitized, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. She hadn't noticed it, and I'm sure most of us don't notice. But when you're away from it for a while, then you do. And really appreciate the health benefits of not having gas at all in your kitchen. Well, please show our friends here this beautiful finished product that smells delightful.
Thank you.
And is beautiful as well.
I just topped it with some Thai basil, some cilantro, a couple of lime wedges. It's a really nice
easy
dish.
And great and quick. So then let's close out with a final myth, talking about the fact that the perception is, or myth is, that induction is always more expensive.
I understand that. Trust me. We have here and in many other locations, there's a huge range of things that you can purchase from a price point. But also there are now rebates that are starting to happen. We are very fortunate to work with Bayren, and Bayren provides all kinds of rebates, not only from, water heaters and things, but also for your, for switching from gas to induction. So there's some really wonderful things out there. And again, when you look at the larger picture, you can find pretty incredible savings when it comes to sort of the big picture of everything.
And the long-term picture too. So I hope this has been an inspiration for people. It certainly has been for me.
Well, I love it. There's my charred pepper, charred tortilla. I think you can see there's a lot of things you can do. And my cleanup, dreamy. Incredible. So, for me, I'm really honored to know that you're out there doing this work. We are now a team forever. And we hope that's been inspirational. For me, I just now expect so much more from a cooktop.
Right.
It's changed, and who knew 5 years ago where we would all be now? It's really an honor to be here with you today.
It's exciting. I hope that more of you will convert to induction as part of your green home.
We're here to help.